Today we're making this. Yes, it's a set of edible antlers from my dear friend Shikanoko. If you clicked on this video, then chances are you've seen their genius marketing for the theme song that just lives rent-free in my brain. The teasers make you wonder if anime has finally gone too far by combining the slice of life genre with heavy drugs. It's like Nichijou but somehow crazier. I know you and I both can't look away from this glorious dumpster fire, so here we are trying to recreate the very edible antlers that I have somehow attached to my head. Now that I've yapped enough, let's actually start making some dough. To a medium-sized bowl, I'm adding 160 grams of whole milk. We'll add 2 grams of yeast, 15 grams sugar, 4 grams salt, and 200 grams of bread flour. I have the flour here in 2 separate bowls because I always pick the smallest bowl for everything and get surprised when it's not big enough. Combine all the ingredients with a spatula until you get an annoyingly wet dough. Then we want to heavily flour a working surface and transfer the dough onto it. Roughly knead for 3 to 5 minutes. If you don't know how to knead, basically fold the dough in half and push down with your palm. Turn and repeat this process until the dough feels more dough-like. I don't know how to explain that better. It should start to look like an alien cocoon basically. Transfer the dough back to the bowl and add your softened butter and combine well. The reason why we add butter now instead of earlier is because butter inhibits gluten development. Gluten is what makes bread airy, chewy, and not collapse on itself when baked. So kneading the dough without butter first gives the dough a head start to begin developing some gluten. Otherwise, we'll be kneading this dough for the whole day. Transfer the buttery dough onto your working surface and get ready for an arm workout. Our goal here is to knead a smooth and strong dough, and we'll be checking this using the window pane test. After kneading for a while, take a piece of the dough and try to stretch it. Even though the dough looks decent here, you can see that when stretched it ripped apart quickly. We don't want that as we need a strong bread that can hold itself up when attached to a head. So we keep kneading and testing until my noodle arms get too tired and I succumb to using this unorthodox two-handed kneading method. Imagine the folks using their stand mixers just pointing and jeering at us. The only benefit of kneading by hand is you will not over-knead it unless you have JoJo arms. After 25 minutes of kneading, the dough finally passed the test. You can use this as a reference but knead it for however long you need to. To shape this into a smooth ball, I used the asshole forming no jutsu where you pinch the side of the dough and pull it to the center, forming an asshole. Cover and let this rise in a warm place or proof in the oven for an hour. Now that our dough is done proofing, you can see that it's at least 1.5 times the original size. Jab the dough with your fingers like this to help it fart and degas. It might feel counterintuitive since we spent so much time letting it rise, but hear me out. It's kinda like how you gotta cut plants back to help them grow more. Do not try this on your wee-wee, it does not work that way. Next, to form individual breads, I split the dough into 8 equal pieces like this, but this is actually the dumb method, don't do this. Because I soon realized that it's not really that equal when I weigh each piece out. I had to manually redistribute dough so that the breads can all be similar size. The better way would be to weigh the dough as a whole, divide the number by 8, and then form 8 pieces of equal weight. And then use asshole no jutsu again to form round dough balls, then transfer them to a parchment paper tray and cover with a dish towel to prevent them from drying out. Choose one dough ball as your first victim and proceed to roll them out with your hands. We'll get it to about 7 inches with the center a bit thicker than the ends. Cut into the dough at 2 points where you want antler offshoots, and then we can pinch and tuck to round it out with our fingers. You can also just trim the sharp points off with scissors or the scraper. If you want more pronounced offshoots, just cut in deeper at a gentle angle. After some shaping, it should kinda look like this. You then repeat this process, but cut in a flipped angle for the second dough ball to create the other matching antler. You might be thinking at this point, oh wow, they don't look very good. We will proof again for another 40 minutes to let the dough rise, and that will smooth out most of the wrinkles. Ta-da! Now we're ready to bake. This is the easiest but also the make or break part. First, I tested with the batch I was less satisfied with at 150 Celsius. At the 3-minute mark, I covered the tray with aluminum foil to prevent the bread from browning. At 10 minutes, I took it out and let it cool. The color came out perfect, however I think it's a bit underbaked and the bread also lacks structural integrity. This got me a bit worried as I only had one more batch to go and I really didn't want to knead dough again. I could have split the batch up and only baked one bread at a time, but I just YOLO'd it and baked everything. This time I did 170 Celsius or 355 Fahrenheit for 13 minutes with the same aluminum technique. And it came out great. The only issue was that it browned a bit because it was 6 minutes in before I realized I forgot to cover them with the aluminum foil. But otherwise, the bake was pretty perfect. It's soft on the inside and had a light crust on the outside. It feels sturdy but not in a rock-hard, overbaked kind of way. Shikanoko described her antlers to taste like nothing, and this doesn't taste like nothing, but we're keeping it a simple milk bread with no fancy flavors. It is a bit plain on its own, so let's make an easy banana pudding parfait to go with it. In a cup, add 1 tablespoon condensed milk, 1 tablespoon ice cold water, and 1 teaspoon pudding mix. No stand mixer, no hand mixing. You just need an electric frother. Combine well and refrigerate for at least 30 minutes or overnight. When your pudding is ready, whip 4 tablespoons of whipping cream until Steve picks. Add the pudding and combine. Take some cookies you have on hand. I'm using this plain vanilla ones. Put them in a small Ziploc and crush them well. I'm also gonna slice up some bananas for both flavor and decor. In a glass container of your choice, layer pudding, cookies, banana, and repeat until you're close to the top. Refrigerate this for at least 4 hours. And you're done! Super easy. Originally, I cut slits on the Antler bread so that they could be mounted on the parfait glass like this. But honestly, it looks so dumb, so I decided to take it off. And now for the best part, let's give it a taste. The parfait on its own is really delicious with fresh pudding cream, sliced banana, and vanilla cookie in each bite. And it was so easy to make. The Antler bread is so buttery and goes well with the parfait, but honestly, for the amount of effort it took to make it, the bread is not super worth it to make. You could probably skip it or just get nicer bread at your local bakery. But since its main purpose is to be worn for this episode, so let's do that. Initially, I wanted my partner to help me design a 3D printed headband of some sort to attach this to, but he had to go out of town, so I made my own stupid contraption instead. First, I speared 2 matching Antler breads with chopsticks. Then I tied the chopstick to my head. With some hair clips, I struggled until I created the perfect balance to make them stick out horizontally. To complete the look, I took some clothes and dish towels I had at home to fashion a shitty cosplay, and here's the final look. You got your very own Walmart Shikanoko. Overall, I learned a lot in this experience and I'm once again astounded by the detail-orientedness of baking compared to cooking. I just want to point out that I'm not a professional baker, I'm not even a good home baker period, but I guess you can call me a half-baker. Thank you as always for watching this video. You guys' comments give me the validation needed to keep this channel going, and I'm always really grateful. If you like anime recipes like this, go check out some of the other ones. See you in the next one!